everybody. Welcome to Disney Inside Out. It's the spooky Halloween edition. I'm your host, Ryan, and I'm joined once again by my friend, Andrea.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me back.
We are going to do something very exciting, very fun for Halloween. Mm-hmm. We're going to do a Disney villain draft, but we've got another special guest with us. Andrea, tell us who is here.
Sure, absolutely. So, because some might not know this, but ESPN is a property owned by the Disney Corporation, and how I can shoehorn this issue into this podcast, which is sports, I thought maybe I would bring on somebody who knows a little something about sports. He is my lover. He is Mudface, my main squeeze. Mm-hmm. He's my boyfriend. His name is Reid Foster. Welcome, Reid.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Can you just explain a little bit about what you do so then we understand your vast knowledge, your expertise that you have? And I mean that genuinely.
I teach Pilates. Oh, you're talking about the other job. I work in sports media. I help work with play-by-play announcers. So the way I generally put it for people who don't watch sports is that when you're watching a sports game, there is generally someone who is narrating what's happening, right? And a lot of times you're like, wow, this person knows a lot about what they're talking about. How do they know so much? That's where we come in. Mm-hmm. We make them sound smart. Mm-hmm. So that's like the long and the short of it. Obviously, a lot of these people are doing their own research, of course, but as we all should. You know, like a lot of them, for example, we don't actually work with them, but the example I try to give is that like the guys who do every like Yankees game, they know the Yankees very well because they're doing every single Yankees game, but because they're so focused on the Yankees, they don't know the other teams as well. Mm. So we come in and give them information packets on the other teams so that way they sound smart. And so we work with a lot of those types of people, team specific, and then we also work with a lot of like retired former athletes who want to do the broadcast, but they're not trying to do all that nitty gritty work, which I don't blame them for. I mean, if I banked millions of dollars, I wouldn't want to do that stuff too, to show up to the games. And like, they're still bringing obviously a level of expertise that makes them valuable for that. So I don't want it to be like they're worthless and lazy, because they're obviously not.
They're bringing in the numbers because they're a name. Right.
But they are like, they're able to bring something to the broadcast, sure. But we're able to fill those gaps where they don't necessarily need to do that. And so that's kind of what I do. And I also listen to a lot of the Big Picture podcast where they frequently do drafts. So I'm pretty familiar with any sort of movie-based draft.
And you're also on several fantasy football teams, correct?
Well, I'm not on the team. I run multiple teams.
You are the kicker for the New Orleans Saints. We all know.
Yes, I am Blake Groupie.
Yes.
Wow, I wouldn't even know who that
Reid
is.
Foster is a pseudonym.
Yeah, they don't want to know that I'm not at practice right now in New Orleans.
All right, we won't air this for them then. Make sure they don't know.
A big game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which are pirates, and there are some pirates on these villains.
There's the connection.
Segue. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. I'm excited to have you on this draft. And I feel like you'll definitely be able to guide us if I feel like I lose my way.
Of course.
Okay. I'm going to lay out the rules for the draft. I have a cheat sheet here that I have developed and worked. I was like, this will be fun to make. And I did not realize, all of a sudden I felt like Charlie in that meme on Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he has like a murder board with like the red yarn. Yeah. Yes. I was like, that was me absolutely putting this together. So this is a Disney villain cheat sheet that I've put together. It includes a robust list of villains.
Good. Yeah.
And what I will say about this is that it was developed by using Wikipedia and Pixar Wiki. Wikipedia, which it just writes itself. Great job. No notes.
Is that not for Wicked the Musical? I feel like that would be a person.
It's going to make you sound wicked smart.
Yeah, I am.
Smart.
I'm wicked smart. I was putting this together in the car. So the way I picked the villains to go on here is whomever had like a hearty amount of information, they had a big enough presence on either Wikipedia or Pixar Wiki and had enough information. That is who is included in the villain list. Who is not included in this list of villains we will be picking from? We're only picking from those that are in animated features, which includes Pixar, shorts or live action. Although sometimes the live action has also previously been an animated feature.
Yeah.
So those characters might be represented. But nonetheless, those are the ones, the tried and true villains that we know and we love.
And they're not any sequel.
No, there are no sequel villains in here. These are the OGs.
The OGs. Okay.
So that's how we pick them. And then we will be using this ranking from the website Screen Rant that ranked 52 top Disney villains. I developed a point system based on that. I also want to say, additionally, before I forget to mention this, that there are special points that are going to be awarded in this draft because specifically there are characters that are voiced by now canceled individuals. So if you pick any of those, these people in real life went from being actors to true villains, IRL. If you pick them, you get an extra point. We're going to each pick 7 villains, and we're going to do a snake draft model, which basically is, it's going to go 1, 2, 3. 3 will repeat, then 2 will repeat, then back to 1. Reid has made a request that he go first. And I want to know how you feel about this.
That is fine with me. Guests go first.
For the record, I only care that I go in the top 2 because I have a 2-person top tier.
You want to cheat?
I'm now revoking my request. I want us to do a little roulette, let a little random number generated to decide.
Okay, that's how you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, guest gets to decide how we pick them.
Okay, because now I don't want to be, when I win, I don't want to be like, oh, well, he was gifted the first pick.
confidence.
Okay, well, that's good.
I believe in wealth redistribution.
Okay.
I feel like there's a spin-off show here.
Is it called wealth redistribution?
Wealth redistribution.
Wealth redistribution.
Okay.
There you go.
We are using a Wheel of Names app randomly that I found to pick who gets to go first. Okay. Oh my God.
Is it Reid?
It's Reid.
Okay, so fair
I did
enough.
it benevolently.
Okay.
Now now I'm a good person.
Oh, and there's applause.
Oh my God, it claps for you. That's amazing.
All right, so Reid can go first.
Okay,
I'm
Reid,
fine with
what
that.
order do you... Now, Reid gets to
Pick who is
decide
No.
where...
Press the spinny thing goes.
You don't want to see who the snake order?
No, I'm going to tell you how you're going to do it right now.
Okay.
You get to pick... you get to pick where you are in the snake.
Oh, I want to go first.
You want to go first. Okay, great. All right, now it's between Ryan and I for the next spot, okay?
Okay. Who is it?
It's me!
Okay, so which spot do you want?
Okay, I will go third. So, Reid gets to go first, Ryan is second, and Andrea is third.
Ooh, okay.
So, Reid, let's kick it off. Whom would you like to pick as your first villain and why?
For my first villain, as I mentioned before, I have 2 in my top tier. I will not reveal who the second one is in case for some reason they fall to me on the next on the next pick. But I'm going to be selecting for the first overall pick, Cruella de Vil.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Now, why am I going Cruella de Vil?
Yeah.
1, she's a bad bitch.
Ooh, okay.
That's a big reason for it. 2, how much more evil does it get than murdering puppies? That's pretty evil.
I agree
Yes.
with you.
3, there was, I know it's only animated, but there was a live action movie starring Emma Stone. And Emma
Yeah.
Stone is maybe my favorite actor. So that is a big positive in Cruella de Vil's thing. And she has a really awesome name. And she has the best song. No one else has their own song.
Sure.
Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil.
Okay.
There's another word after Cruella de Vil.
I love that version of it.
What I will say I love about Cruella de Vil is that for her, we have a sheet that tells us some demographic information, and under occupation, it does say fashion designer.
She is a fashion
She is
designer.
a fashion designer. Did you not watch the movie? Cruella?
Sure. I think she's a...
It's more heavily implied in the live action versus
Yes.
the animated. She's kind of just this, chain smoking.
Yeah.
woman.
Well, like
Okay,
fashion
are you
designer...
saying that's not cool?
I'm not saying it's not cool, but in terms of like her occupation, they focus more of it on in the live action.
Right. And
Some of us like emphysema, Ryan. Thanks
and
a lot.
also, she reminds me of my mom because my mom was a heavy smoker and she got rid of many dogs.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there's a personal connection to you for this villain. And I'm sorry about that because that sounds horrible. Okay.
This does feel like a room that you could do therapy in.
Yes.
And I think it's really loosening us up. It is now Ryan's
And then it
turn.
goes back to Reid, and then it goes to you, and
it would
then
me, then back to you, then back to...
Okay, that's how it snakes. Okay.
Yes.
Like a snake.
Duh. Of course. Obviously didn't pick
That's
a
how I know
snake
you've
for
never
villain.
drafted in fantasy football.
Yeah. Well,
That's how you know.
That's how you know. That's the only giveaway. I'll take it. All right. So for my villain, I'm going to pick Judge Claude Frollo.
Whoa.
And I'm picking Judge Claude Frollo because he is one of the scariest villains to me because he's the most real. I feel like we live in a time where we could have a Judge Claude Frollo currently. Someone who's very manipulative, and there's the religion thing, there's all this power, and there's a little bit of hypocrisy with him too. And it's just scary because he's in a position of leadership where a lot of people look to him and he kind of controls things. And I just think he's a very realistic villain, and that's why I'm picking Judge Claude Frollo.
Do you not like the French?
I do not have a problem with the French
I love that
on
you're
the
answering
record.
this like it was a real accusation.
I have no problem with French. I do have a problem with people in powerful roles.
Powership should be a word.
Role. That's a new word I made up. People on roles of great power using religion to like control people or to persecute.
He also is persecuting a person that is differently abled. If we're also taking into consideration. Hey, I was about to ask you if you were attracted to Esmeralda when you were younger.
Well, so maybe not in a traditional like male, female, heterosexual way, but I was like, oh, I love her. Like I had the Esmeralda
Like
Barbie.
Slay Queen.
Which one is Esmeralda?
Esmeralda is hunchback. She's, well, we don't say gypsy anymore, but she's
A Romani
person. Quasimodo's in love with her. Phoebus is in love with her. She's sort of the romantic of her. Have you seen Hunchback?
Jasmine.
Okay.
Hunchback.
I know that she gets with Hunchback guy.
She doesn't get with him, but
I saw a few months ago on the tweets that apparently some people speculate that she's less attracted to him once he becomes a real man, and that you see a look of disappointment on her face when she sees what he looks like.
Are you talking about Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, that is Beauty and the Beast.
Okay. So, I mean, similar themes,
But he
I
is
guess.
kind of a beast.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Oh, the Hunchback is he's a white guy, right?
Yes.
Oh, I'm getting those two
It's
confused.
okay. This is why we're here, to guide
Okay.
you.
When I think about Notre Dame, I think about the football team. So.
Yeah, I figured.
Can we just edit from the last thing you said to when I think about Notre Dame, I think about the football team.
All right.
Now it's time for Andrea's pick. I'm going with Scar from Lion King.
Scar was the second one on my top tier.
What is your reasoning for picking Scar?
Scar is, I think, one of the most scary individuals. He kills his own brother. Spoiler alert. He's also voiced by the amazing Jeremy Irons, who brings gravitas to everything he does. And yeah, I mean, his overall look is just intense. He wants nothing but power, and he doesn't care what happens to get it. His name is Scar. His name is also just Scar. And that, I feel like, says a lot. So
And he's kind of dictatorish too.
yes, exactly. Well, like the opium of the cult of personality, you know.
That's a good song.
That cult of personality.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Be Prepared. I was like, Be Prepared is a good song.
I don't know what that is.
It's Scar's song he sings.
Oh, The Lion King does have a pretty fire soundtrack. I was listening to it a little bit. I was going back and forth between that and some of the hits off the Tarzan soundtrack.
Oh.
But the Tarzan soundtrack goes from like, wow, this is one of the best songs ever, to holy shit, my ears are bleeding. Please turn this off right now. Whereas the
Don't
Lion
listen
King,
to the early
Phil
2000s
Collins,
of...
right? It's not all Phil Collins, which is the problem.
Who else is on it?
Some people were like very 90s. I forgot who it was. But
On the Tarzan soundtrack?
yeah, it was like very like what you would never get those people now. But Elton John and what's his face,
Tim Rice.
Tim Rice. Yeah, they didn't have to go that hard on the Lion King soundtrack, but they in fact did.
And we love them for that.
I wanted to tell you yesterday that one of the girls I nanny, we were standing on the sidewalk and she just goes, Andrea, what is the circle of life?
Oh,
And I was like...
cue the...
It's a leap of faith.
Yeah, it's a Wheel of Fortune.
But I was also like...
Band of Hope.
She's been talking about death a lot recently and she really wants me to answer stuff about death. And I was like, let's ask mamas when we see them because...
we can't.
Because I don't know what they believe happens when you die, and I would like
want to
them.
impose my beliefs on you.
She's like, but I'm not going to be dead forever, and I was like,
Actually,
let's
that's
talk
exactly
to your
how it
mother.
Yeah.
All right, then I get another pick,
Oh, right.
and I am going to go with a queer icon. I'm going to go with Captain Hook.
Captain Hook. Okay. Yes. And why picking Captain Hook?
Captain Hook is on a ship full of men. See how he dresses, his hair. He is a queer icon. He and Smee have something going on. Like, come on, you know. And I bet Smee is a top. Anyway, but I know that might... because, like, he's got the hook. You know what I mean?
Captain Bottom?
He could be.
Captain Bottom, yes.
But I thought the whole implication is that Peter Pan was the bottom and that Captain Hook is trying to get him.
Well, maybe in the porn that you have watched.
Yeah. In the other...
Or is that not based off of what the reality is?
Well, I'm saying that...
And where did the little kids come into play?
This is taking a different...
Now that I look back on it, did it actually take place on Diddy's Island?
Oh my gosh. It was a white party.
Topical.
And Captain Hook used the baby oil to clean his hook.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm picking... Also, I want to
villain.
say I'm picking Captain Hook because he is on one of my favorite rides at Disney World on Peter Pan. And I love, if you get to that point, he is just like kind of almost doing a split in the alligator's mouth, which I always greatly enjoy. So, Captain Hook.
Love that.
I had Captain Hook in my second tier, the elite tier.
Oh.
And I said that Captain Hook is the coolest Disney pirate, animated or live action, even before the other one became abusive and had weird cologne commercials.
Even before the other...
Oh.
Dustin Hoffman?
No, I'm talking about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, Johnny Depp?
But
Yeah.
that's a live action, so we can't...
I said coolest Disney pirate, animated or live action.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm saying even
Okay.
if we were including that, he'd still be the coolest.
Now we're going back to number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2 is me.
Yes.
Number 2 is me. Okay, so my pick is going to be Maleficent.
Ooh.
Because Maleficent, in terms of someone who, again, manipulative, powerful, she has so many amazing powers, especially in the animated movie. She transforms. Mm-hmm. She's got henchmen. She's got the raven that can see for her or spies for her, flies around. She, I think I mentioned, transforms. And she's really scary.
She is.
Yeah. And I think she's like a quintessential Disney villain, full of a lot of rage. I feel like she likes to scream. And so I want her on my team.
Also included in rides in both Disneyland.
The Phantasmic Show.
Yes.
She screams and turns into the dragon in that.
I know it has been a long time since you went to Disney World, but did you see Phantasma Phantasmic?
Yeah, that's the one that's like in the castle in Cinderella's castle.
No, it's not in Cinderella's castle.
But it's like right next to it.
No, it's in Hollywood Studios.
Oh yeah, no,
It's a show.
It's on like a rock formation.
I have seen it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We saw that. That was the last thing we saw when I went in high school.
There
Okay.
you
And it
go.
was all in the water, right?
Yes.
That was pretty sick. I kind of wished I'd done a little acid.
You know what?
That would be pretty trippy.
Well, that's why there are... If we can just take a little detour real quick, there have been cases recently of like viral videos I've seen where people are like taking some kind of hallucinogens and then they're like getting naked on like It's a Small World.
Oh, yes.
And so
I don't know.
if you do that, babe, just be careful. I don't want you to be in a viral video
You'll get
like in your
banned.
skivvies, you know?
Well, I can't go in there because it's not a small world and I'm naked.
Wow. Okay. So now it's Reid's
Reid, it's your turn.
pick.
Okay, so I have many people left in my second tier.
Is your first tier gone?
Yeah, the first tier is just Scar and Cruella de Vil.
Oh, okay.
Those are the goats. So the second tier is the elite tier. I'm going to go with Hades. I picked Hades because he is real in Greek mythology, so it feels kind of like a 2-for-1 special. I like that. He has a nice light blue color that I like, and he's pretty amusing. Like, I think he's a pretty funny bad guy. Mm-hmm. So I think that offers a lot of quality that I want to have. So Hades is going to be my second pick.
It is why it's so disappointing that because James Woods does bring like
He's so great.
He's so funny, and honestly, I can't imagine anyone else doing it. Which is why it's so disappointing that he is a real life Disney villain.
Yeah.
Right.
But the way he treats what is her name?
Meg?
Yes, is indicative of how he treats women in real life. So
That's why he was so good at the part.
That's why. You know, sometimes the call's coming from inside the house, if you know what I mean.
Maybe he helped write the story. He's like, I have some ideas about the relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now, wait, babe, can you let us know, do you go again, or now it goes back to Ryan?
It goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so you get another
so
one.
I will go again. So I have a few other left in the elite tier. I'm going to leave one of them to someone else.
Thank you.
Because I honestly expected them to be taken already, so I didn't plan a whole lot of analysis. But you know what? Actually, I am going to take them because the value is too high.
Okay.
I'm going to take Ursula.
I knew it. I knew that.
Andrea thought that Ursula was going to be in my top tier. I honestly expected her to go third. I'm going to be real with you. I thought, we can go ahead and say it, I thought Ryan's pick in the first round was the reach of the draft, was not even on my board. I was never going to take them. And I was pretty sure that Andrea would take Ursula first, if not Scar, because you seem like a big Ursula person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm getting all the queens. Cruella, Ursula, I got the baddest bitch.
You've got like the drag queen love villain.
Right, and
really
Hades kind of has like a queer energy about him.
Sure.
So yeah.
He does it, but like he doesn't want any of his friends to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he'll actively fight against it, but then he'll be like, but blow me.
It's like this, the senators who are like, anti-gay rights, but then they're like, I'm going out with a guy tonight.
Yeah.
You have heard that like the RNC is like the biggest event for Grindr.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'm gonna go with Ursula.
Okay. That's
She is just big and bad, and she's purple, which I like.
it's like a bruise.
She was played by Melissa McCarthy, right?
In the live action,
And I
yes.
like Melissa McCarthy. She's funny.
Yeah.
And it just seems like she's pretty hateful for no reason. Like I like when they're hateful without a reason. Like sometimes like they have a reason. It's like, you know what? I don't like this. Like the bad people in Pocahontas, I thought they were bad, but they at least had the goal of acquiring land. Ursula was just a hater.
You understand it. You understand imperialism,
Right. Especially as a white man with British roots, who one time I told someone my full name one time, and she said to me that I sounded like I came right off the Mayflower.
Yeah, it does sound like you came from the Mayflower.
So I like when someone's just a hater, and that's all Ursula is just a full on hater, and I respect that.
I mean, she does have a purpose for, Ursula's backstory?
She is part octopus.
That is, well, technically, I think they say she's like squid because of how many tentacles she has.
Okay, I mean, it's kind of like
yes.
a calamari situation where you never you always kind of forget which one.
Exactly. Well, Ursula and King Triton are brother and sister, which I now with the live action, the Broadway musical, I'm like, did they mention it in the animated movie or not? I don't think they do.
They do not.
So Ariel is her niece, not her nephew.
And so there's been a lot of backstory. I actually would love if they made a movie of Ursula, like how they did with Cruella.
It's probably going to happen.
I think it would be good. But anyway, Ursula feels slighted that her brother got the kingdom and she has nothing. So she's constantly like looking for ways to like get in. And so that's sort of her reason for like entrapment with Ariel, because she's like, if I take her, the father will come, I'll get the trident.
What I will say about Ursula that I love is that she's fashioned after Divine, which is a drag queen that was, if you've ever seen Polyester by John Waters, or if you've ever seen Hairspray, Divine is Tracy Turnblood's mother in that. Divine was a very well-known drag queen. And you know who really draws a lot of inspiration from Divine is Chappell Roan. She just did an entire show where she was paying tribute to Divine. So
you will be surprised to know that I have never heard of any of these things. I've heard of Hairspray, but when you say Divine to me, I think
Divine Joy
Randolph. Yeah, the person. Yeah. I think of that.
Ryan's turn.
My turn. Okay. For my next pick, I am picking Madame Mim.
Ooh, so, Ryan, you're going deep cut.
I love Madame Mim. So this one's pick. I mean, I love a villain with a sense of humor, and Madame Mim definitely has that. She's silly, she's wild, she's crazy. She transforms.
She does.
She's got magical powers. That showdown with Merlin, the wizard showdown where they're just constantly changing their form, I think she is very powerful that way. She doesn't really have an occupation, really. She's just a woman who lives in the woods. And so if you're kind of thinking of someone who, we were talking about Ursula when you were saying you like the villains that have no purpose for hating, she just doesn't like goodness, I guess. So she's just out to create evil things. But yeah, I think the shape-shifting, the manipulation, the trickery, the magic, but I would add to it humor, which isn't necessarily a bad quality, but I love a humor, and I want a little humor in my team. So that's why I'm picking Madame Mim.
I love that. She also has a disgusting face in her normal, like she's got that wart on her face. Yes. She's got saggy titties, which I totally relate to.
That was a feature that
It is a fear. That's why talk about the body dysmorphia that Disney films give you. She's just a bitch who wants to fuck shit up. That's what she wants to do. I love it. And I love that you're going, you're going deep cuts.
I was really approaching it as okay, if I have to have a team, I'm like, what do I want on my team? I want power, strength. I want a little bit of humor. I want magic. I was trying to think of that.
I love that. I love that for you. So Madame Mim.
Pick.
Now it's my turn. I have two picks in a row. I'm going to go with somebody who I had a strange interaction with once, and that is Jafar from Aladdin. Jafar is also able to transform in the film. He's got a magical staff. Mm-hmm. He's very tall and lanky and just Slender Man. You know what I mean? It's just, I have a core memory with him when I was at Disney World with my sister Elise, and that the character was very committed to their job and kind of grabbed us by the necks. And there's a picture of us kind of being grabbed by the neck. And I think that's why I like that now. Anyway,
now that you say that, I do think I've seen pictures from the 90s or where Jafar, they were a little more hands-on with people, whereas now I think they're don't touch anyone.
Yeah, I don't think they could get away with that now.
Yeah.
I remember it was what is happening? Yeah. But also the picture is amazing. I'm not going to lie. I just think Jafar really scared the shit out of me when I was a child.
Yeah.
I also remember seeing this meme that someone had a Jafar doll and they took his clothes off and it was really terrifying as well.
What was the difference in Jafar's body?
I mean, it's just he's so long and his chin but his chin remains the same. And it's just his
angles are weird, but then the rest of it's probably just regular.
He's just like a pencil.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm picking Jafar. And then for my next pick, I get another pick. I guess I'm going to have to go with Evil Queen. Evil Queen. Evil Queen from Snow White. A person who wears many different hats is also included in two different rides. One in Disneyland. Yeah. And also she's included in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, where she is the old witch character. I have always been terrified of her, and I don't know, I just feel it just speaks for itself. Evil Queen.
It's classic. You can't.
Her name is Evil Queen.
I was going to say that is the classic reason. Yeah.
I had both Evil Queen and Jafar in my 6th tier labeled I don't care about them, but they're important.
I love that you haven't had anybody that I picked in your tiers. Right?
Yeah, none at all.
I'm going.
Did not even.
I'm probably going to lose. But
I considered Madame Mim because she looks kooky.
yeah.
In addition to Madame Medusa, who looks like she's very drunk.
Well, that would be on. Yeah.
She looks like someone in my family, Madame Medusa. So now back to Ryan.
Me. All right. I'm going to pick another really deep cut. I'm going to pick Chernabog from Fantasia.
Ooh.
So I don't think you can get much scarier than Chernabog. And in terms of, I mean, he's literally a demon, and you don't really know anything about him, which makes him even scarier. Like, he's not he doesn't speak immortality. So if he's an immortal villain, I'll take that. Superhuman, hellfire, demonic powers.
Can I ask, what does Umbra Kinesis mean?
Umbra Kinesis?
Oh, I had looked it up.
Wait, where does it say that?
It says
Umbra Kinesis.
I've heard
a
of
power?
telekinesis.
Umbra Kinesis is the ability to mentally generate and manipulate darkness.
Like the GOP. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good pick. I didn't have Chernabog on my big board, but I'm seeing now that I probably should.
Yeah.
I do think the thing about him is that when I was doing the research to do the cheat sheet, I was like, he's just got a shit ton of abilities.
Yeah.
He also exists in like mythology as well, like how Reid was saying, comparable to Hades. And yeah, the imagery around him is absolutely terrifying, which is honestly why when I was younger, I could not really get into Fantasia.
That was the part that was really scary.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
my pick.
Chernabog off the board. Next up, we're going back to Reid.
Yeah, I was going to say on Fantasia, I didn't really get it as a kid. And I saw it a little later on. I was like, see what they're doing here.
Were you on acid at that point?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, but I was like, I respect what they're doing. It's still, I don't think I could sit down and watch the whole thing. It's just a lot.
It's a good clip.
Yeah, you watch like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you move on with your life. Okay, so it's a difficult decision because I still have 3 characters left in my elite tier. So the first one I'm going to select here is Sid Phillips from Toy Story.
Wow.
Okay.
Honestly, maybe the scariest villain. He's just here to torture. I mean, he's got like that magnifying glass out and he's like got the sun going on them. That is like really fucking scary. So I think in terms of pure evil, Sid got to be right up there. So iconic, Sid, evil, have to take him. The second one I'm going to take is Shere Khan because Shere Khan is a tiger.
Yeah.
And the 2 college football teams I like most are tigers.
I love the reasoning.
My cat looks like a tiger. And you do kind of feel the threat. Like, you do feel like he actually could eat you.
He's scary.
He's incredibly manipulative in the film. And, you know, he is also able to he can pivot really too to just find whatever your weakness is. That's what I remember about him.
He reminds me similar to Scar, where he's a little charming. He's got that like sort of like when you're talking to him, that sort of like wit and charm, but then he can be really evil.
And again, this theme is coming up for me where there's like this queerness vibe about him too, where he's a little like, I like the finer things in life. I'm going to file my nails a little bit and I'm going to... You know, I also think it's like, gay or European, you know, like from Legally Blonde, the song. It's like, it is absolutely.
Is that like a musical?
Yeah, Legally Blonde is also a musical.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the musical.
I love it.
It's
and
really
do you like
fun.
oh my God, the music from it is so poppy and fun.
It was one of the better like movie to stage renditions.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay. These are great picks.
Do we know if Shere Khan or Shaka Khan? Shere Khan came first, right? Because I guess the Jungle Book.
Well, I think Shaka Khan was born first, but we just weren't aware of her presence yet.
Jungle Book came out in the 60s.
Yeah.
Right. Well, was Shere Khan in the Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling?
Yes.
Okay, so that was definitely before Shaka Khan because that was like the late 1800s.
Oh, true. If you're thinking of the book, yeah.
But I don't know if I know the Disney version probably holds different things.
Shere Khan is in the original book. So, yeah, you're correct. Shere Khan's first.
Okay, so I got one of the real OGs.
You got
Between
it.
that and Hades, who was written in a book way before all of this stuff.
When books were just like first written.
Right, those are books when like most people couldn't even read.
That's like on Spaceship Earth when you go, wait, is it Spaceship Earth? When you go,
remember your ABCs?
yes.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Who is Dame Judi Dench, who does the voiceover in that.
Yeah.
Ryan.
My turn.
Your turn. We're
like,
getting to the nitty gritty here.
I think this is my last. Is this my? Or no, maybe I have two more. How many have I picked?
You have two more out.
Oh, okay. So for this, I'm going to pick Buddy Pine, aka Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Ooh, okay.
So I just think a child scorned who grows up to be a villain is a pretty strong attribute. He's very he's out for vengeance, and the fact that he sort of comes up with that whole, like, takes over that whole island and, you know, creates a thing, and he creates that other monster, and he has this whole plan, and he becomes, you know, a villain superhero. I think it's pretty great that he worked his whole life to do that. So the dedication and the persistence of that villain, I want him on my team.
He's on, like, he has a volcano.
Yes.
And he also is like a traditional, like, superhero villain too. Like,
yeah, he sort of has that comic book backstory where he was like, he was a big fan of The Incredibles. Then he gets scorned by the Mr. Incredible. He wants to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick, and he keeps showing up, and he's like, "No, you can't." And
I've already got a wife who's got a great ass, and I would rather work with her.
We're not looking for someone.
Now, is it my turn? It's my turn. I'm gonna go first with Gaston.
Oh yes.
Gaston is everything that's wrong with men in the world today. Also, he eats raw eggs, and that bothers me. That's not healthy, and I feel like it should catch up with him, and it hasn't yet. He just really is so into himself. There's no pivoting. He creates a mob mentality. The person who is, I would say, very loyal to him. He's also to LeFou. He's also pretty awful to LeFou too. There's nobody that Gaston really shows warmth to, even in a woman that he's courting, that he says he wants to marry.
Women are for marrying, not respecting.
Right, exactly. That's what Gaston thinks.
Take that clip out, and that's going to be the clip of the show.
I don't think Gaston goes down on women. I think he just, like, gets head and then is like, I'm good. Like, I think he's like, he develops this, like, mob mentality and goes after this person who, yes, by the way, is a rich prince. But Gaston doesn't know that.
He doesn't know.
He's also awful to Belle's father. And it's making me think of that meme right now when he's, like, complaining about Belle's father. He's like, he came in here last night ranting and raving. And then it cuts to, oh God, what is his name? Maurice, like, in a rave.
Yes, with the glow sticks. Yeah.
So that's why I'm picking Gaston.
That's a great pick. He's another classic.
He's also a character at Disney, and it's always fun to see the way that the different Gastons play Gaston.
Have you ever met him?
I have, yes.
Me too.
And I've seen him get into, like, a push-up contest with other guys, and he'll do something where, like, he's taking a picture with a couple, he'll pick up the girl, you know, and the guy will be like, you stole my girl. So Gaston is cucking.
Yes.
I guess. I'm going to go pick my next pick.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with a personal favorite.
Okay.
And I don't think I'll get a lot of points for him, but I'm going to go with Professor Ratigan. And here is why. He is terrifying. I remember vividly seeing The Great Mouse Detective when I was younger. And specifically, I'm picking him because I was so terrified by him. Afterwards, I went home and I walked in my room. It was dark, and something fell on top of me when I walked in my room, and I thought it was Professor Ratigan attacking me. What it was a random piece of wood I found in the garage that I decided to put my height on. To measure my height on, but I did not secure it to the wall because in the 90s, a kid could just go into the garage and get a loose piece of splintery wood and be like, I'm going to measure how tall I am on here now. And it hit me in the back of the head. And I said to my mom crying, I was like, I thought it was the guy. I thought it was Radigan. So that's why I'm including him in this because of a childhood drama. Thanks, guys.
I went to throw some trash away yesterday. And I opened up the trash bin and started throwing it in and realized that I was throwing it on top of a rat, and I felt pretty bad.
Oh,
It looked pretty cute.
Did he look like Radigan?
yeah.
No,
it was the opposite. You put some trash on him.
Yeah.
And I included trash in my room that I thought would be a great centerpiece.
Yeah, I had Professor Radigan in my tier 5.
Ooh.
The tier 5, I don't know them, but they look cool.
Yeah.
And the note I had for him is he doesn't seem very professorial. Well, like he looks like some kind of like magician you'd see at a carnival.
Maybe he teaches magic. All
Ooh,
right.
and he's in Oliver and Company.
No,
That's a good movie.
he's not in Oliver and Company.
It says he has a cameo in that. I'm going off of the sheet. The sheet.
See?
Andrea,
apparently-
was this fact checked?
Okay, here's
She
the
actually
thing.
fact checked something before, and it
Wait,
was wrong.
I'll check. Maybe you could be right. Maybe there's like one of those like Easter egg things.
Like a hidden Mickey. While you're doing that, I'll say that earlier, was he in it?
Oh yeah. So he appears. Okay. So this makes sense. Okay. So this was correct. I'm sorry. I was wrong. He is in the cameo. So when Georgette the poodle, voiced by Bette Midler, is singing that song, the Perfect Isn't Easy, she's lounging on her pillow and she has a bunch of the dogs she's like dated or animals or whatever. Like I think one of them is from 101 Dalmatians. The what's the dog they love to watch on TV? Thunderbolt. They love to watch Thunderbolt, and I think he's one of it. But Professor Radigan is in one of the pictures. She dated him, or maybe he was like sent her a picture. But anyway, sorry. Yes,
She wanted a tenured professor. Okay. It's time for your 6th pick, Ryan.
Oh, me. I'm gonna go with Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog, because speaking of like magicians, he is voodoo. Mm-hmm. New Orleans. He does tarot. He's got, again, the sort of charisma, but also very creepy, very smart, and does just a lot of magic manipulation.
He has all the kinesises.
Yeah, he does all the kinesises.
The kinesi.
The kinesi. I don't know. I just think that he's another sort of, he was sort of my like, when I was thinking of like classic villains, I feel like you see him in a lot. They've incorporated him into like stage shows at Disney. He's in the Hocus Pocus stage show at Disney.
Right. He is not, this is a spoiler alert for the new ride at Disney World.
Yes.
Apparently he's not featured in Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
No, because the story of it is post movie.
I guess when into the series that they've now done for Disney
Plus. Hasn't come out yet, yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Voiced by the wonderful Keith David, who is a wonderful character actor. Reid, these are your last 2 picks.
These are the last 2.
These are the last 2.
Okay.
Make them count.
You know what? Maybe y'all can help me discuss which ones I want to do. So the first one I'll take is going to be the Queen of Hearts, because she has a cool name. She has been in some good movies. Many songs make allusions to the Queen of Hearts, which is fun.
Yeah.
Even though that might be a thing about the card as much as it is the character.
Yeah.
But I like that aspect, and she seems important. So I wanted to get someone who's a little more substantial as one of them to hold me down. You dig?
I do dig.
So the Queen of Hearts is going to be the first one.
Okay.
Want something for the Disney heads to not Disney heads, but just the basic people to respect. And then the other 2 I was picking between for this last one, they are both from Toy Story 2. So it's between Emperor Zurg, and I like that he looks cool and he's appeared in all the relevant Toy Stories, so 1 through 3. The second one is in Emperor Zurg and Queen of Hearts are in my 3rd tier of just cool, but I'm going to actually, instead of Emperor Zurg, I'm going to go into my 4th tier, not actually amazing, but make me laugh, and I'm going to go with Al McWiggin from Toy Story 2.
All right.
So
Al's Toy Barn.
the primary reason I'm picking him is because there's a funny account on Twitter that every Saturday posts when he says, "Can't believe I have to drive all the way to work on a Saturday." And he just goes right across the street.
And it just posts that every Saturday?
It just posts that every Saturday. That's all the account does.
Wow.
And since Reid loves Seinfeld, it is voiced by the amazing Wayne Knight, who is the Newman.
I did not know that. So that's also a benefit to me.
There you
go. But then also, I do think that, like, in some ways, he's, like, kind of ahead of his time because, like, he is such a classic incel and he is like really trying to preserve the past. And I just think that you look at him, this is the kind of person who is 100% gonna vote MAGA. He is a true villain. Like, this is a sick individual. Like, you're getting addicted to, like, children's toys. You won't ever play with them. You get mad at people when they mess with, like, the cardboard stuff. This guy seems like he'd be really annoying to talk to and hang out with. But yeah, I feel like he would be pretty difficult to have a conversation with because you would try to explain something. I mean, he would just get very angry if you just did not agree with his point.
Well, like you see in the lack of boundaries with Andy's mom when Woody accidentally ends up at the garage sale and he's like, I want to buy this. And she's like, oh my goodness, how did this get down here? That's a mistake. He's not for sale. And while she's helping someone else, he takes Woody. So he doesn't get Woody by ethical means. It lets us know, like, his prerogative is whatever he thinks is important. That's it. I mean, that's what's up with incels is they're like, why don't these women like me? Look how much I know about Magic the Gathering, you know?
Right.
I could take a whole night telling them about Magic the Gathering.
Well, what's funny about that, too, is that there are so many women that would love to talk about Magic the Gathering with them.
Right. And they are just completely ignoring them. I love this pick.
Yeah, I love the reasoning.
I'm surprised, but I love it. I love it for
Why are you surprised?
That's kind of like a deep cut villain.
That felt more like a Ryan pick than a Reid pick, I would say.
Okay, well, I think it's a pretty through line of, like, me knowing, oh my God, I would like to revoke Queen of Hearts as a selection.
Why?
Because I forgot the one I have one in the elite tier I didn't take. So
Are we going to allow it?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not competitive.
Honestly, we don't give a shit. This thing has been a complete shit show.
I'm taking an objectively worse character, so this actually hurts my chances of winning.
So you're saying Queen of Hearts is back on the board?
Yeah, Queen of Hearts is back on the board.
Okay, Queen of Hearts is going off.
Okay,
so who's on?
I like Queen of Hearts, but I had forgotten to take Man from Bambi.
I thought about Man.
Because in some ways, it's the most evil of the villains.
Yes.
This is one that, like, it perpetuates throughout all of time. You look at what's happening in Florida today with the hurricane, happened because of Man.
Yeah.
And I would say that of the people...
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say that, like, for most people, when I talk to them and they mention, like, a traumatic thing that happened, like, it's that they watched Bambi and Bambi's parent... is it their mom or their dad? Or,
the man shoots Bambi's mother.
Okay, yes. The man shoots Bambi's mom. So that is a lot of kids were pretty traumatized by that. Yeah. And so I think in terms of, like, things that have happened in animated movies, I can't think of something that's traumatized more kids than Bambi's mom getting murdered.
I heard, and so there was several years ago, Steve Carell and Kristen Wiig presented something at the Golden Globes, and they were talking about why film is so important. And in one of them, Kristen Wiig talks about what a terrible day it was for her to see Bambi's mother get shot, and then she found out afterwards her grandfather died.
Oh my God.
I think it was for the bit, but it was just like, okay, they were presenting 4 animated films and why animated films are so important, and they were remembering what happened.
It's a good pick because I actually had very similar. I was like, oh man, I was like, that kind of embodies all of, like, so many of the villains and, like, what we're living today. Like, man is the cause of, is the root of the evil.
The thread that I keep on seeing, and I just want to say this before we continue, is that I feel like female villains are villains because they feel like they're lacking beauty or some kind of trait that makes them lovable by a man. And then men seem to possess this quality where they are villains because it's the ultimate grab for power and they want to get to the top of the heap. Okay, Ryan.
This
is your last pick.
Okay. I've, like, changed my mind a couple times while we've been talking about this. So I think for my last pick, I'm gonna go with Clayton from Tarzan.
Oh.
And this kind of goes in with me wanting to pick Man. Like, I feel like Clayton represents the evil of sort of coming in to a land, a place, somewhere that's not yours and wanting to just be like, I'm here, this is mine now. I went between him and Ratcliffe because Ratcliffe's similar.
Right.
But I picked
was just
Clayton
thinking that when you were saying
because Clayton goes over the edge with the gun to me because he does shoot at Tarzan. His death also is kind of one of the more disturbing deaths. Like he hangs himself in the vines on accident. You just see his body swinging in the shadow. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Tarzan. But,
it goes back to like Disney was like, remember when we were a little spooky?
Yeah. And Tarzan tries to like help him. It's one of those things where Tarzan like in the last minute is like, oh wait, you're gonna and he tries to like help him and then he ends up like accidentally hanging himself.
Now it's just me.
Your final?
Okay. I'm gonna go for him. I'm so glad you didn't pick him. I'm going with Emperor Zurg.
That's why you were making that reaction when I picked him
What's
originally.
so funny is that was my last pick, and when Reid was like, oh, help me pick between the two, I was like, oh, if he's going to pick Zurg. And then he didn't, I was like, okay, I'll do it. But then I was like, no, I still have Claire. And then it's so funny that we all circled around
There we
Zurg.
go.
But why are you picking Zurg?
I just think he is modeled after Darth Vader. And I think Darth Vader is, of course, we're not including Star Wars. We're not including Marvel in this, you know, but nonetheless, I think Darth Vader is honestly one of the most ultimate, perennial like villains that in pop culture. His ongoing hatred, his nonstop hatred and affinity for Buzz Lightyear is amazing. I love the style that they dive into aesthetically that Disney gives Emperor Zurg. And also I love Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yes. I love that ride.
It's fun.
It's so fun. You get to shoot little like laser guns. I just enjoy him greatly. And I think, again, he's like in the vein of like an older, you know, tried and true villain.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did we get to the end of this? Okay.
So
just to review who we have all picked real quick for everyone that has been listening so far. Reid, who was first. His picks were Cruella de Vil, Hades, Ursula, Sid Phillips from Toy Story, Shere Khan?
Shere Khan.
Shere Khan. Okay.
She by Sheree.
She by Sheree. That's what I thought. Shere Khan, Man from Bambi, and Al McWiggin from Toy Story. Oh, you've got 2 Toy Story characters on here, babe.
I know. I told you that was a through line that like a lot of mine picks were from Toy Story because I like that one and I can remember them.
Ryan, we have Judge Claude, Maleficent, Madame Mim, Chernabog, Buddy Pine, who is also
Syndrome,
Dr. Facilier, and Clayton. Andrea has Scar, Captain Hook, Jafar, Evil Queen, Gaston, Professor Ratigan, and Emperor Zurg. We are now going to tabulate the results. I don't know who the winner is, but we do have a winner. Ryan is tabulated according to a score sheet that I developed based off of a 52 character system. The points have been distributed as such. Ryan, take it away. Would you like us to know? Can you let us know what each character got point wise?
So I'll go through each person's picks and what the points they got. Okay, so Reid, Cruella, 10 points. Hades, 8 plus 1, so 9 because he was voiced by James Woods.
Okay,
There
good
we
start.
go.
Good start. I'm
Ursula.
I believe it's our only canceled
Yes, it was the only one we
real
had.
life Disney villain on the list. Great job, Reid.
Ursula, 9 points.
Okay, killing it.
Sid Phillips, half a point.
Okay.
And then Shere Khan, Man, and Al McWiggin were not on the list. So it's 0, 0,
Right,
0.
I was led astray.
So you have a total of 28.5. I'll do mine. So Judge Claude Frollo was 9. Maleficent with 8 points. Madame Mim was 3 points. Chernabog was 12. He was the number one villain.
Number one. Chernabog is number 1.
Syndrome was 8 points. Dr. Facilier was 9. And Clayton was 5. So it gave me a total of 54.
Okay.
Andrea.
Reid, how are you feeling?
It's fine.
It's okay.
I mean, it's not that I was deceived or anything.
It was more about the conversation. Andrea, Scar, 10 points. Captain Hook, 5. Jafar 10, Evil Queen 10, Gaston 9, Professor Radigan 4, Emperor Zurg 7, for a total of 55.
Wait, so who? Wait,
So
did I
Andrea
win?
had 55, I had 54, and Reid had 28.5.
Reid had a respectable 28.5.
Okay, but so I want to make sure that, so even if I had kept Emperor Zurg and Queen of Hearts in there, I still would not have won.
If you would have you would have had better points.
Yeah.
You would have, no, you still wouldn't have, because even if you had kept Emperor Zurg,
That'd be 7 point. No, I wouldn't have come close.
No, you still wouldn't have won.
That's fine.
But Andrew beat me by 1 point. 1 point.
Oh my goodness. I haven't
the
won
champion,
anything
and
since
so you can reveal the prize for yourself.
the prize, which Reid will get to look at now in my home.
I'm so excited to see the prize, and we'll have to put a picture of it on the Instagram.
Of course. I'm so honored to be your winner. I truly am. I promise I did not put a thumb on the scale whatsoever. So much so that there were characters that were not even on the ranking. But I'm so honored to represent you, Disney villains,
Yes.
as the only woman in this room.
It just
right now.
goes well with what we were talking about.
So when Ryan and I were first discussing what the prize could potentially be, I wanted to get some like weird, like off-market Disney toy to get it. And those were actually exceedingly hard to find.
And probably expensive because people are weird about that stuff.
Yeah, and I don't believe it would. Yes, it was expensive, and also I don't think it would have arrived on time. So instead, I did find something, which is I now get to take home an official Piston cup.
Oh, that's cute.
At the bottom, there is a quote. It's credited to Owen Wilson, who is the voice of
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
Oh, he is?
Who? Yeah,
Okay.
and it's him saying, "Wow."
Wow, I can hear it. Wow, that is a cute trophy in honor of Cars. We had a Cars villain on here.
Armie Hammer was Jackson
right,
Storm.
because we joked about that.
Oh, I had one of them
He
on my
eats
list.
other cars,
Yes,
actually.
he eats other cars. That was our joke.
Oh,
about him.
Axel.
Axelrod.
Axel, who is voiced by Susie Izzard.
Oh, Essman.
Oh,
Susie Essman from
Izzard.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Andrew Abbey. Oh, I included another Cars villain on my big board, Chick Hicks,
Oh, yes.
because he looks cool and I respect the mustache.
Who is
I
Chick
was-
Hicks voiced by again?
He's a hostile takeover bank racer.
That helps. Thank you.
He looks like Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh, it's Michael Keaton, isn't it?
Michael Keaton, you're correct.
I just want to say thank you so much for this prize, but it really belongs to all of us.
Yes.
And the true Disney villain is capitalism.
The true Disney film that hasn't been animated yet. Well, this was kooky, spooky fun. I'm glad we did it. It was interesting to see how it turned out.
It was super fun. I'm so glad we did it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for doing it with us, Reid Foster. Happy Halloween. Go dress up as one of these characters.
Yeah, dress up as a villain. Have a great and safe Halloween. And you can follow us on Instagram, Disney Inside Out Podcast. We'll post a picture of the trophy on there and maybe some other fun photos. Hey, thanks again, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.